Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
The moment a pair of thieves made off with more than $1,000 in belongings caught on camera, and tonight the couple who had their things stolen are being forced to pay to get them back. Thanks for being here with us tonight for the news at 11. I'm Kimberly Gill.
Good evening. I'm Karen Drew, in for Devin Skillion. Now, the couple drove all over the city just to recover this fraction of what was stolen. We head now to Jacqueline Francis, who spoke with the couple about their experience.
The couple is upset, and rightfully so. A few days after the break-in, police discovered the stolen items at local pawn shops. And even though the pawn shops were notified that the items were stolen, that didn't stop them from charging the rightful owners to get their stuff back. We're talking more than $1,000 cash that they paid to get items stolen out of their own home. On the run with a laundry basket full of stolen valuables, this is how it all started. The break-in happened at this Warren home July 24th. The homeowner, Ricky Lewis, spotted the suspects outside his house on surveillance camera and came home from work mid-burglary, sending the men running.
And I run into one guy. I'm trying to take his picture while I'm calling the police, and he takes off. And it's all caught on camera.
A few days later, Warren police arrested the suspects, tying them to a string of other burglaries. They also tracked down Lewis's stolen items at local pawn shops.
They say it was recovered. It wasn't recovered, it was discovered. I had to actually pay the pawn shop to retrieve my items, so I was violated twice.
Lewis and his wife spent $1,400 at two different pawn shops buying their own stuff back. We talked with the general manager at one of the pawn shops, Ziedman's in Detroit, who defends their business, saying they upload all purchases to an online database where police can search for stolen items. We asked police if this was legal, and they gave us the same explanation they gave Lewis.
The pawn shop has the right to keep it until they're compensated first for the money that they shelled out for stolen goods.
His message to those in charge when it comes to how pawn shops operate:
the laws need to be changed. They should have to go through the inconvenience before me, because they're doing it for profit. I had no choice. They took my things. They're trying to make a buck. I'm trying to keep my that I work hard for.
Police did a little extra digging, and they say there is a way for victims to get their money back. As this case makes its way through the courts, the defendants can be ordered to pay restitution. But the odds of them making good on those payments, well, that's not so good, especially if those people are behind bars. Reporting in Detroit, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Hey, Jacqueline, thank you. New tonight, we're taking a deeper look into the state of party politics in Michigan. On one side, you have the Democrats, fresh off sweeping victories in last year's midterms, granting them control of the state House and Senate for the first time in 40 years. But the House majority could hinge on the outcome of upcoming local races as two state representatives run for local office. On the other side, the state of Michigan's GOP is getting national attention this week, singled out as one of the states where the state party is a shadow of what it once was, cash-strapped. It's seen its donor base flee. Mara McDonald is live downtown tonight. Mara, that doesn't mean Republicans can't still win here, though. Let's make that clear.
Kimberly, that's right, and that's exactly what national strategists are saying out of D.C. So how do you figure, you ask? Well, they say it's simple. It's a workaround. Let me show you. Described in Politico this week as a train wreck, Michigan's GOP has been consumed by hyper-Trump loyalists who have alienated establishment Republicans and donors.
There's no reason that real people with real money would invest in these clowns that are running the circus that is the GOP in Michigan. I mean, the party is living in a van down by the river, effectively. They're bankrupt.
Jeff Timmer is the former executive director of the Michigan GOP and vocal Trump critic. He agrees with the assessment in Politico that Michigan's GOP state party is a mess. So why do national strategists see possible GOP wins here, both for federal and state office? The answer, they say, is simple. You You work around it with super PACs that can bypass the entire state party apparatus and fight digitally and on the airwaves, or closer to home, do what former Governor Rick Snyder and William Parfit are, fundraising in an effort to take back the state house. Snyder is the antithesis of MAGA, and he's advising Republicans trying to win back seats to stay above the fray.
I told people we should just stay out of everything else. Stay out of the presidential election because that's very divisive. Stay out of all the party operational stuff and organizational stuff. It's a simple task.
Despite the state party's woes, Timmer believes Trump can win in 2024, especially if a third-party group like No Labels fields a ticket.
The prospect of Donald Trump being reelected to the White House, beating Joe Biden, is real. He has zero chance of winning a majority of votes nationally, but he has a very real chance of winning the Electoral College.
Back here live, interesting to note that the latest poll numbers in the presidential race come from the New York Times and Siena. It has the race at a dead heat. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara, thank you.
Detroit police addressing a concerning trend tonight. 2 fatal shootings separated by about 24 hours, both tied to domestic violence. Just yesterday, a woman in Saline was shot outside of her workplace by an ex-boyfriend who she had a personal protection order against. She died later in the hospital. Then, this morning, on Detroit's east side, a woman in her 30s was shot and killed by her husband. Both suspects have been arrested. Police leaders say they are seeing an increase in these types of cases.
Statistically, you know, when you talk about intimate partner violence, we're seeing a slight uptick, but the level of violence is up, right? Where it's going from assaults to fatalities.
Police say the couple involved in the shooting today were going through a divorce. And if you or someone you know is in a domestic violence situation, we do have resources and information for you posted on clickondetroit.com.
Detroit police are looking for more information identifying individuals involved in an assault. And you can see in this video a black Chevy Impala pull up to a woman walking down the street. A man then exits the vehicle and approaches that woman, snatching her purse from her there. You see it happening. Video ends. The man forces her into the passenger side of that vehicle. If you know anything, take a good look there. Call police or Crime Stoppers.
A woman with no medical training got caught on the west side of the state treating patients as a nurse, and this isn't the first time it's happened. 48-year-old Letitia Galarzo is accused of using the Michigan licensing number and name of an actual nurse to get a job at a Grand Rapids hospice care facility. Police say she doesn't actually have a valid nursing license. She also said she claimed to have a master's degree in nursing, which also is not true. Galarzo is currently charged with felony identity theft. She was convicted of a similar crime back in Texas in 2016. We do have calls into Detroit police to find out what they can tell us about the gunman who shot and killed a man in his 30s on Detroit's east side. Happened outside of the Jeffersonian apartment complex. It was about 2 o'clock today. We are told it all started as an argument, but things escalated and then eventually turned deadly. We'll bring you an update as soon as we learn more. Coast Guard officials say they pinpointed an oil sheen on Lake Michigan after a bulk ship reported a diesel fuel leak on Wednesday.
Yeah, so the Coast Guard says the spill is 2.3 miles long and just under a mile wide and is about 1.5 miles offshore of Manistee. Crews are working to place an oil boom to contain the spill. Officials say they have no reports of beaches or drinking water being impacted. All right, grab your tickets. We have the winning numbers to tonight's Mega Millions drawing.
Yes, the winning numbers are 11, 30, 45, 52, 56. The Mega Ball is 20. The Mega Millions jackpot at $1.3 billion, the second largest jackpot ever. Over 4 million tickets were purchased for tonight's drawing. Tonight marked the 31st drawing since the jackpot was last won in New York, and that was back in April. College football realignment continues at a fast and furious pace. The Big Ten was rumored to expanding, and today it became official.
Yeah, so the Big Ten is now the largest conference in college football history. Jamie Edmond joins us now. Jamie, this is about the conference aligning itself, I guess, but it's also, we cannot ignore, it's about money.
It's always about money.
Right?
And also something's going on with college football, but it's mostly about the money. The Big Ten media deal is much bigger than anything the Pac-12 had secured. And so Oregon and Washington will leave the Pac-12 next season and come and join the Big Ten. Starting next year, the Big Ten will have 4 schools on the West Coast: Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. That makes 18 schools. And so it truly is a coast-to-coast conference. It's unclear how the money will shake out, but both Oregon and Washington will receive only a partial share of the conference allotment of that television deal, and that goes through 2029, 2030. In a year, many logistics still need to be figured out. The schedules, the travel, all of it. New Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti released a statement that reads in part, "We are excited to welcome the University of Oregon and the University of Washington to the Big Ten. We look forward to building long-lasting relationships. Both institutions feature a combination of academic and athletic excellence that will prove a great fit for our future." So the Big Ten is getting bigger. The Pac-12 may cease to exist, which is crazy. They only have Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, and Washington State remaining.
Right.
So you think they would flee as well?
Right.
and
What's going to happen with them, that remains to be seen.
But we're not changing the Big Ten name.
No, we
Not to the
talked
Big 18.
about that. Maybe they
The
get
Big 18, the Big 20.
I think they'd add 2 more schools and then be just Big 20.
Yeah.
Round number.
It won't
Nice.
happen.
right,
Still
let's watch
ahead.
a little bit.
Thanks, Jamie.